I took the Dart out of Dublin City to the sunny coastal town of Dunleary, where I'd arranged to meet up with Irish bouzouki player and singer Daoiri Farrell.
Well, thank you, Seaman. Yeah, thanks for having me here.
I asked him to tell me about his instrument, the Irish bouzouki, made by Dublin luthier Joe Foley.
I had it made especially for myself, everything down to the wood and stuff. I really kind of talked it through with Joe, you know.
Right. Okay, so before we get into the specifics, let's just talk about the Irish bouzouki. It's kind of it's an adaptation of the Greek bouzouki.
True. Yeah, that's right. It has a flat back, as you can probably see there, and it has 8 strings. It has 4 courses. 2, yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah. And sometimes I can't count, but so it has 8 strings as opposed to kind of a Greek bouzouki, which has 6 strings, you know. They would be tuned D, A, D. You've got the likes of Alec Finn plays those guys and stuff, you know. This one is a much bigger body as well, as you can see, than you would have on a normal bouzouki, if anybody is familiar with the bouzouki. And it's just a gorgeous instrument. It's just lovely. And now what I tend to do is I tend to be singing most of the time, as opposed to backing tunes and stuff. And this has just helped me out something else. Like, it's just unbelievable, you know. It's just a lovely, powerful instrument that cuts through my big voice when I'm singing through the microphone, and it's great. And also, like, at the same time, if you sit down in a session to play, it comes out over the top as well. Like, it doesn't get lost, you know.
And so you mentioned before, like, playing in the sessions. Most of the time, I mean, for yourself, you're accompanying yourself with songs. But there would be some players that just play instrumental stuff, or how does it go with the?
Yeah, like, I mean, there would be there'd be some bouzouki players that play instrumental stuff. Brendan Regan in Kinvarna is one of the best that I've ever heard, you know. He's unbelievable. And Neil O'Callaghan then as well. Like, I mean, man, you need to check these guys out. Like, they're unbelievable musicians, you know. And they're just fantastic. And like, I would have grown up listening to these guys who are a little bit older than me. Not too much older than me, but a little bit older than me. And I would have been listening to these guys growing up, and I kind of knew what the bouzouki was, but like, they really inspired me to go on and play it, and to look at them, it kind of can be daunting sometimes. You kind of go, I'll never be that good, like, you know. But it's not about that. It's just about enjoying it, and I still enjoy playing bouzouki, and that's what it is for me. I know I'm busy and stuff lately, like, and that kind of busy after having a busy year and a new album and stuff, but I still enjoy it when I stand up there and play it, you know, and that's the main thing. Now, the thing about the bouzouki is it's tuned G, so this top string here, the bottom string, I suppose they call it, is G, D, A, D is the way it's tuned. The way I have it tuned.
Yeah, can we have a listen to that? Like, how
sure, of course. If she's still in tune. Yeah. So that's what it sounds like. So, you know, that would be a D chord just if you just held down this one. Obviously, it would be a D chord because you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're 7 frets up, which it's not a G anymore when you cap it when you hold the fret down there. It's a D, so it's D, D, A, D. So that's what you've got going on there, you see. So it's nice. It's a nice drony thing for backing tunes, and let's say if you're singing the song, most of those songs kind of don't really change key like pop songs do or whatever, you know. So. So it's nice for that.
So do you just capo with just the one fret, or do you go across the whole note?
No, if I'm capoing, I would capo, like, let's say I would do a song, you know, and it might be in the key of G, so I'll capo it here. So it just means that you can kind of, you're not really playing chords, you're kind of playing, you are and you aren't, you are and you aren't playing chords, but you're kind of doing some runs as well, like, I mean, kind of, you know.
Do you want to give us an example of that?
Yeah, like, you might go, you know, like so. know, that's kind of this kind of thing, and then I would sing over that as well, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, all right, I could. So if I capoed it there and started playing what would have been the D chord, you've got a G chord, you see. The capo is basically
right.
clamping. It's just getting rid of all this part of the bouzouki up to here. So this is the new nut.
Right.
You know,
So
basically.
yeah, the one thing I noticed there is that you're using the strengths of the instrument, whereas essentially you've got a lot of open strings and like a lot of resonance. Whereas if you're going to play in something like your B flat or something really unfriendly, it's you'd be fighting the instrument, I guess. So that's
like you could do you could do all of those chords without the capo and stuff like that. But they do make life a little bit easier, capos, I think, you know.
Yeah.
So
and there's something nice about that open ringing strings while you're doing the accompaniment. Yeah,
it's lovely, you know, and it gives it a nice, like when I take it from there and put it up here, it gives it a nice little bit of trebly, and like there's other songs that I would do in G and I wouldn't use the capo and stuff like that, and everybody's the same. I kind of just, you have to play around with them and have a listen and see. Like I could play with a song for 6 months, and if I didn't like it, I probably wouldn't do it again, you know. And revisit it in a couple of years or whatever. I've done that before, you know. So yeah.
So tell us about your writing process. You've just done your second album.
I've done my second album, and a lot of people have been asking me about writing lately. I collect songs. That's what I do. You know, I don't really write songs, and I've been kind of collecting songs. Like traditional songs, and that's like we're in it's called Daoiri Farrell. We're in the headquarters now, like in Monkstown, you know. Like, but this is kind of where it would have started for me. Actually, in this room, banjo playing with like Kieran Hanlon and stuff like that. You know, it's amazing. And the baritone out here and banjo. I would have came out and done a few singing classes out here and stuff. And
I think it's probably time to hear some music. If you got something you'd like to play for us?
Yeah, I'll play that one that I was thinking of. It's a song called Pat Rainey, and it was actually it was written by a friend of mine, and Fergus Russell is his name, and he's a singer that I sing with quite a bit. And he sings unaccompanied. He doesn't play an instrument. He sings a cappella when he's singing, and he's fantastic, like absolutely. And I would have met him because we're members we are attendees of the Mongolian Singers Club, which happens on Friday nights in Parnell Square in Dublin City Centre. It's an amazing place. It's great. Just a lot of people come in and just sing songs, and there's no hassle ever. It's great. And
this is all unaccompanied.
All unaccompanied songs, yeah. Very, very rarely hear somebody bringing an instrument and playing, you know. Like really, probably once ever I've heard it, you know.
Right.
So, and I'm going years, but it's a great place. And so this song I would have heard this song unaccompanied first, and I kind of came up with a couple of different things. So it's called Pat Rainey, and it's about a travelling man from Galway who travelled around with his horse and dog. It turned out actually that Pat Rainey was a very famous and fantastic uilleann pipe player, you know, of the traveller style of piping. And you'll hear a couple of lines in the song where he says he takes his hat off and puts it on the ground and plays the pipes until there's enough money to go for a beer, you know, stuff like that, you know. Hasn't got a care in the world.
That's it.
And the song was really special to me because a lot of my family, half of my father's side of the family were Raineys actually, but I don't know if we were related. I must check out the family tree.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. It would be, you know. So anyway, this is Pat Rainey, and it goes like this. not down. I squeeze on the bellow on the throne gathers around me. I play Mrs. Micklehose and the wind in the gap, and the police have been put down as they dance and they clap, and many's a right shilling they throw in me cap for me when I fall now the drink, I'm sure it's no crime to sit down in the sheebie with our mates sublime. I'll dance till the morning, I'm no slave to time. Well, there's wife each night comes down from the farm. Her husband he gets cold, but I'm quite warm. Oh, for here in me tent, she'll come to no harm with me fond day. But when winter comes around, for fear of the town, I'll whistle me dog down the road we will tramp, and that housewife will sigh when she sees me broke ham. Oh, fond day. But when springtime comes round, I will pass back this way. I'll look at me old Billy, and I'll have me some tea. I'll check in the lower and someone on the way for me. For me name is Pat Brady, I'm a travelling man. I'll mend your old pots or I'll make you can. For I'm prince among nomads, I'm king of me clan. And fun da da la 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 day. And fun da la 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 day.
Thanks for watching. Click on the links for more interviews, follow us on Facebook, or subscribe.